Okay, this is the lesson video for uh, January 19th, Tuesday of this week, when we're at lesson number 4, unit rates and percentages. And our focus today is let's continue to explore unit rates and begin learning about percents. So this is where we start looking at unit rates. And then I also am introducing percents because we're going to be taking a unit test on this here very shortly. And I want to make sure that we are staying, abreast of what we need to do. So our focus today is let's continue to explore unit rates and begin learning about percents. Put in your name, the date, and the period there in the upper right-hand corner, and make sure when you upload these notes that you include the examples that I do, please, with them. Next, you'll have your vocabulary words. Write these down in your notes. And what I'd recommend doing is just pausing the video right now and writing these down and then start it up again. But I'm going to go through them right now. Ratio. It's a comparison of two numbers or measurements. Like, for example, say I had 3 cups of flour to 2 cups of sugar for a recipe. That would be an example of how I'd write a ratio. And we learned about that earlier in the school year. A rate is what we're dealing with now, is a special ratio where numbers are different units, like miles and hours. For example, I went 270 miles in 3 hours. And a unit rate is the rate for one given quantity. So, for example, a rate could be also expressed like most often the times we do it in like miles per hour, like 55 miles per hour. And then the last one is percentage. And here we've had this before, but I'm introducing one other addition to this, but that's per hundred. It compares things to 100. And special fractions that have 100 for the bottom number and as the denominator. So for example, an example of that would be 35% equals 35 hundredths. So once again, pause the video and go ahead and write down these vocab words. Okay, we're back. Now let's go ahead and let's look at some examples. We have here exploring some unit rates. And remember, this is a rate of a specified comparing two quantities where one of the quantities is 1. So here we have Henry is an avid reader. He devours 90 pages in a half an hour, kind of like my youngest daughter, Paige. She loves to read. How many pages has Henry read per minute? Well, let's see what we have here. Let's underline some of the important information. First of all, we have 90 pages. That's a quantity. That's how many he has read. In how long? In a half an hour, which is the same thing as 30 minutes. So how many pages has he read per minute? Now this one is telling us this is important information because it's saying that that means that's that denominator. That's what's going to be the bottom number. So first thing I want to do is I want to write this up and say, okay, so we have here, oops, delete that extra mark there. So what we have here is minutes is going to be our denominator, and then pages will be our numerator. And then once you've established this and you understand what you're looking for, we're looking for pages per minute here. I'll put that over here. So per 1 minute, that's 1 minute. Then all you just do is get the information out of the word problem. So I have 90 pages in 30 minutes. And I'm sure you should hopefully be seeing that saying, oh, okay, so those are both multiples of 10. So I can cancel out the 0. So that's 9 divided by 3, which would equal 3, oops, let me take that back, 3 pages per minute. And this is the unit rate. All right. Okay. So let's take on this other problem here. Simon neatly arranges 35 remote-controlled cars in 5 rows on a shelf. Find the number of cars placed in each row. So you could probably draw a little picture and go, there's 1 shelf, 2 shelf, 3 shelf, 4 shelf, 5 shelf. How many cars on each one? Okay, well, there again, too, now we're looking and saying, well, let's break this down. What are we looking for? Well, we're looking for the number of cars in each row. So there again, that would be our denominator, but that bottom number, because that's what we're saying. How many cars per row? That's what we're looking for to find out. So we have 35, and so that must mean that cars is the numerator, the number of cars per one row. So here we have, then we just replace the numbers again. 35 cars, 5 rows. 35 divided by 5 would be, of course, 7 cars per row. So if I can see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there we have that. Those red dots represent a car, and so there's 35 cars on 5 shelves. So again, this is our unit rate. So that's how you figure unit rate. You use the information you have in the word problem, and you just say, what are you getting down to? What are they asking us to find? What quantity is that one that's being compared to? So in the case of these two, top one was minutes, the second one was rows. Let's see what else we have here. Now we're going to be talking about percentages. So we're moving into percents now here in the 6th grade to get us ready for 7th grade. But let's review. Percents are special fractions. Like I said, they are fractions that end in, that have 100. So for example, if I have 45 hundredths, that would be the same or equivalent to 45%. And then all we do is we use that percent sign to replace the fraction. So mathematicians are basically lazy. They got together and say, you know what, we don't have to always write this. If we're talking about percents, let's just use this sign here, this symbol, to tell us it's a special fraction. So for example, what if I had 35 hundredths? Well, that would be 35%. How about 98 hundredths? 98%. Now I'm going to give you one to work on, you to try. How about 44 hundredths? Pause the video for a moment and then write down what you think it is. We're back. So that would be 44 and the percent sign. Okay, well, what about, let's talk about some single digits. How about 9 hundredths? Well, that would give you 9%. And then how about 2.5 hundredths? Well, that would be 2.5%. So you can even have decimals there in percents also. And last but not least, 8%. Stop the video and tell me then, write the special fraction for that. Okay, you should have gotten 8 over 100. So this is, again, percents are special fractions that have 100 for the bottom number, the denominator, and then all we have to do is then take away that denominator and just write percent sign to replace it. Okay, now here we have converting percents to decimals. To do this, you move the decimal point 2 places to the left. That would be the left. And drop the percent sign. So for example, how about we do 68%. Well, that decimal point, even though we don't see it, is right there. And we're going to move it 2 places to the left. So that would equal 68 hundredths. And notice when I say that decimal that way, which is the correct way to say it, it's just like if I was saying 68 hundredths, which is the fraction. I always like to point that out. That's kind of cool. How about we do 73%? What is that going to be? Well, again, that decimal point's right there. We're going to move it over 2 places. 73 hundredths. How about 86%? 86 hundredths. How about 13.5%? Now, the decimal point is very visible, so that makes it a little easier, in my opinion. Again, 2 places to your left, and you get 135 thousandths. Now let's take on some single decimals, single digit decimals. Let's see here. All right. Now on this one, you're going to say, well, lots of students think again, there's that decimal point. You got to take it over twice. 1, 2, and then put it right there. And then you put a 0 in there as a placeholder. So what you get is 9 hundredths. Lots of students make this mistake. They go like this. This is wrong. That is 9 tenths, not 9 hundredths. So be careful of that. So here we go again. Let's do this one. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3 hundredths. And again, here with this decimal, you go 1, 2, and you would get 85 thousandths. So here's one for you. Stop the video and then convert that to a decimal, please. Okay, we're back. If you have that, you get a sticker. Okay, that's it for that lesson. And then now you have the Nearpod lesson 2 that in Schoology you can check out that shows you some more examples. And if you do using this student pace lesson, you'll have a chance to actually do some problems as you go. So let me know if you have questions. This is again, thank you very much. This is our lesson 4 from January 19th. Thank you.